Welcome. I'm David Starlyte, and today we're discussing trauma. This is a huge topic, and I would like to discuss this a little bit further and elaborate in future talks and really get to the bottom of it, get beneath it, and move beyond it as individuals and as society. This is something that affects all of us, and it is a sensitive topic, so please be mindful of that. If you need support, please seek out an appropriate qualified professional to help you. If you're going through a difficult time, like many of us, just be aware you're not alone. We're all here to support each other, find a friend, find a family member, share with other people what you're going through. That's so important, that we share with other people, that we connect with other people, because these mental health diseases, these mental health conditions are not labels. They are the lack of connection. They reflect the lack of connection. They reflect the void in people's lives. They reflect a suffering that has many causes and can go back many generations. Many of us are familiar with abuse, with trauma, and unfortunately we've been on the receiving end of those. I don't know anyone who hasn't received some kind of abuse, some kind of trauma. And if you haven't received that, if you've lived gilded life, protected life, then your friends and family will have been on the receiving end of abuse and trauma. So you will have indirectly have experienced these issues. Abuse can lead to a deep existential wounding. Often the perpetrators of abuse are in positions of authority, leadership, and power. So this accentuates how big a problem this is and how far-reaching it is. Often the people who seek out power and establish themselves in positions of power, unfortunately abuse their power. And often the reasons they seek out power are because of the healing that they are seeking within them. And often this, unfortunately, subliminally or subconsciously, or simply their pattern of consciousness plays out in a way that the abused becomes the abuser, the victim becomes the aggressor, the oppressed becomes the oppressor, etc., etc. How big are these problems? How big is the problem of abuse? Well, 2/3 of people presenting for mental health services in Australia were physically or sexually abused as children. So 2/3 of the people who presented to mental health facilities were abused as children. Millions of people have complex trauma via emotional abuse and trauma. Millions and millions of people have suffered these abuses. So great is the issue of trauma that we need to realize it's part of the human condition. It's part of the human experience. I quote Monica Sharma, who said, I think this was in a TED talk recently, we need to recognize trauma as our humanity. We need to recognize trauma as our humanity, not suppress this, not deny this, push it away, push people in mental health facilities and hospitals far away, lock people away in prisons, give them criminal records, etc., etc. Trauma is part of our humanity. It's part of the human condition. We all need to face it, accept responsibility, help each other, connect with people who are suffering. Simple. Everyone has suffered. Now, it may not be a trauma, because trauma is a loaded term. However, every person you've ever met in your entire life has suffered in some ways. And it may not be a physical abuse, it may be a spiritual abuse. That doesn't matter. It doesn't make it less than or There's no comparison in trauma. Suffering is suffering, and it's not a competition who's suffered the most. For some people, something that to you is a small issue, to them is a major issue. It's something that they find very hard to deal with. Spiritual abuse is something involving a person's core beliefs, where the core belief related to their sense of safety in the world is significantly betrayed. And this is something that also seems to affect so many of us. Regarding trauma, this can go deep and deep and deep, more and more deep. And for this talk, we're just going to talk on a little bit of the surface or introductory level. It affects the collective consciousness, or what Jung described as the collective unconsciousness of humanity. It also affects us intergenerationally. I've read that up to 7 generations back, we are still affected by the suffering of our ancestors. And in shamanic healing, in the shamanic world, we often look at these generational healing. We look at the patterns of our ancestors and how they affect us today. And I do believe that our healing affects them. So we can reach back into hundreds of years perhaps and affect, through our inner processes, we can affect our ancestors. Many of the mental health conditions and mood disorders, including bipolar, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, BPD, narcissistic personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, have trauma as their base. So the conditions which psychologists and psychiatrists have many labels for, and I just gave a few of the big ones, underlying all of them is trauma. Underlying all of those mental health conditions is trauma. So what is their cause? What is the underlying cause, and how do we remedy it? How do we treat it? Trauma affects a person's ability to think clearly, to feel, to behave appropriately, to connect with other people. So the very remedy for their suffering is connecting to other people, but the suffering affects how they're able to connect to other people. The trauma affects their ability to connect with other people. Like you cut off a person's hands and it's going to affect their ability to work, or to plow the field, as a very rough analogy. And the nature of trauma is not always a seen one, or usually it's not seen. We don't see emotional abuse. We don't see it physically, like I just mentioned, someone having no hands, for instance, as a physical trauma, as physical suffering. We don't see this in mental abuse. We don't see this in sexual abuse. And yet the effects can lead people to very dark places, including taking their own lives and the like. So it's often less serious having a physical injury than having a psychological or injury involving trauma, an emotional injury, call it. And the effects of trauma are our emotions get stunted, our emotions get stuck, we feel fragile, we often close ourselves down, we close ourselves away from the world because we're afraid. We're afraid to share, we're afraid to talk to people, we feel stunted, we feel like going within. It's important that we have dialogues, that we have open dialogues, that we share with each other in conversation, that we're witnessed by other people, because being witnessed is a powerful healer. The goal in our practice today is reintegration of body, mind, and spirit. And it's an introductory practice. It can be practiced by anyone. But if you do have any diagnosed conditions, please just make sure you're under the auspices and care of a qualified health professional. When we talk of abuse, when we talk of trauma, how does that affect you? Where do you feel it in your body? And when you think about perhaps the traumas you've experienced, the suffering you have experienced, how has it limited your true authentic nature and confined you within a narrow, limited version of yourself? How has it separated you from other people? How has it separated you from the limitless consciousness, which is your true nature? And I've spoken before about nature and the awe of being surrounded with nature and how it takes us away from our internal egoic self, our identity, our suffering as a small individual person, and helps us to connect outside of that into the world, connect with the greater part of the world, which is nature. And that also helps us develop awe and appreciation and gratitude and connection to the world. So please go out into nature, experience nature. That is tremendously healing. And that's where our unlimited or limitless consciousness lies, within nature. That's where our inner peace lies, within nature, with our connection to nature. Trauma has affected all of us, and it continues to affect all of us. The key is connecting to each other, connecting to nature, and connecting to ourselves. The practice I'll lead you today is the final chapter in that, which is connecting to ourselves, connecting to our inner selves, and helping us develop a framework of perception, of seeing our suffering within the world. I'm just turning my on. Okay. So as individuals, the goal is to raise our consciousness, to imprint this on our energy fields and imprint this on the energy field of the world, to shift the blueprint of humanity into healing, into wellness, into love and connection and caring for one another. So appreciation time. Thank you for everyone coming to this channel and for being part of this experience. And please leave your comments below. And I want to encourage you to share your experiences of suffering, share your experiences of trauma, of abuse. And let's shift our focus into a meditation practice now. And as always, starting with finding a comfortable position. I'm in a chair. Get grounded, feet into the earth. And I put my fingers, I connect my thumbs like that and palms in my lap. Starting to relax my body with keeping your back straight, switching on your core so your back is straight. And finding a position where you can be still. So we're not statues, however, in meditation it's kind of statue-like. Obviously, if you do need to move to get into a more comfortable position, that's important. But for this practice, just keep it really simple and focus your attention on your body. And when you're ready, close your eyes. Starting to turn yourself inward, shifting your consciousness inside of you, shifting your awareness internally. We're going to start by becoming aware of trauma and abuse and suffering and how it's affected us as human beings. And how just thinking about these issues, thinking about these heavy topics may affect you. Placing your attention on your body, becoming aware of any reactions, any responses, any feelings or thoughts that have arisen. And we're just going to gently allow those thoughts and feelings to arise within us, and gently send them the message, I'm listening, I'm here with you now. Whatever is arising for you now in the present moment, be with that part of you and bring your awareness and attention. Acknowledge that part of you that's perhaps crying out for attention, perhaps nagging you for some dialogue, some conversation. Create a little dialogue with these areas of tension, perhaps resulting from your past experience, from your memories. And these memories get hardwired in your body. So by doing these types of meditation, you are starting to unwire or unravel that emotional experience, unravel that trauma, uncoil it. So we bring attention to it, we raise our consciousness, we soften our vibrational pattern, and we simply bring awareness to what happens. So we bring awareness to what happened with our present day consciousness, because what happened to you in the past is often not reflected in your memory. As in, you don't have an accurate bodily pattern or physical or emotional or mental pattern to what happened, because you're holding on to it. If you think of an animal, if they have an experience, they'll let it go. They'll release it. The human beings hold on to memories. They hold on to experiences. And they often shift them and create a whole pattern around them. And patterns cover up patterns, cover up patterns. So there is a gestalt. Deep inside of us is often just a cry to be heard, to be met, to be received, to share with others, to connect with others. And to do so in an environment of loving kindness, an environment of loving kindness. So this is my goal in this process today, to bring this loving kindness to your experience, to bring this loving kindness to your memories, to bring this loving kindness to your physical patterns and emotional patterns. So gently, whatever is arising within us now, gently support that and bring white light into it. And using the breath just to raise the vibration, to bring the new energy into our bodily patterns. And with the out breath, gently release. Gently let go. Keep breathing, deepening your breath. And where there are patterns in the body, see if you can release them with the out breath. So throughout this practice, we are simply breathing and being present to the patterns within our bodies. Simply breathing and becoming present to the patterns within our bodies. Simply breathing and being present with ourselves. You can think of bringing love and kindness to yourself. You can think of all the experiences you've had and all the emotional and physical responses you've had to those experiences, and how underlying those experiences was you, was the fact that you were the experiencer of those experiences. You received those experiences in your own way and created stories around them, stories about them. And those became patterns within your body, patterns of consciousness within your mind. So breathe in love, breathe in kindness, and breathe out stress, breathe out anxiety, breathe out tension. Importantly, keep breathing. Keep opening up a conversation, opening up a flow, opening up a dialogue between the old and the new, the old self and the new self. Breathing in the new and breathing out the old. We're starting to shine the light of consciousness on our past experiences. And we're starting to bring ourselves emotionally into the present moment through this practice. And keep letting go with the out-breath, breathing out old, dark energy, breathing out patterns that don't serve you any longer, breathing out patterns that took you to this point, and be grateful for having helped you survive, being grateful to those patterns for having helped you survive. Now you're ready to let them go. You're ready to renew, reinvigorate, reset your life. And we do this by breathing in white light energy, breathing in new energy, and letting go of trauma with the out-breath, letting go of memory with the out-breath. Just let it go. Let go of all this stuff that doesn't serve you, all the stuff you don't need anymore, because we're up leveling it. We're raising up our consciousness now, shifting our vibration, and just breathe in new energy and let go of the old stuff, the old patterns. All these traumas that we've taken on. Isn't it time we let them go? And some of these patterns we can release effortlessly. Why not? Let them go without effort. Easy. And as you breathe in, feel that your breath is deepening. Breath is getting deeper and deeper, and your ability to breathe is improving. You're softening vibrationally. Your body is lightening. You're feeling lighter and lighter. The heaviness is starting to dissipate with your out-breath. Keep breathing it out. Keep your breath flowing and cycling. And feeling like you have this ability to let go of the old. It's important that you acknowledge that you have this ability. The more we believe that, the more we're able to have that ability. The more limitless we believe we are, the more limitless we become. So let this process be easy, let it be effortless. And when thoughts arise, you can gently acknowledge them with kindness. If memories arise, you can gently acknowledge them with love. And then say to them, thank you for all that you've taught me. I'm now ready to let you go. I'm now ready to renew myself. Thank you to the old stories, the old beliefs, the old memories, because they have made me who I am today. They've brought me here today, so thank you. But now I choose to renew myself, to heal my energy field, to let go of all these old traumas and to let go of the trauma of my ancestors, all the traumas that my ancestors experienced, all the abuse that they expressed, that they experienced, all the sexual abuse, all the violence, all the witch hunts, all the belief systems that imprison people. I'm now ready to let that go. I'm now ready to release that. I'm now ready to let go of all the traumas of my ancestors. And I'm sending love to my ancestors. Send love to all your ancestors, going back generations. Sending love to them. They did the best that they could for you. And you are here now, standing on the shoulders of your ancestors. So we thank them for reaching this point in our evolution, for reaching this point in our collective evolution. And we let go of that trauma that they experience. We let go of the abuses. We just allow it to be washed away. Imagining that you are sitting under a waterfall, or that you're beside a waterfall, and that waterfall is flowing. That waterfall is flowing beside you, flowing over you. And the energy of the water is purifying. It's blue, and it's allowing your energy field to be revitalized and renewed. It's allowing your energy field to be renewed of traumas, to heal from abuse, to let go of suffering, and allow that water to take this all away, to take all the impurities from your energy, all the emotional impurities. Let them go with your out breath and allow the waterfall to purify your soul, to purify your energy field, to purify your emotions. This waterfall is powerful. Feel its energy caress your body, caress your energy field. Feel your closeness to the water. Its powerful cleansing abilities. This beautiful blue water that cleanses and purifies. It softens. And feel it cleanse you where there are experiences that have sprung to mind from your memory. Feel this water take those experiences and cleanse them from your memory, cleanse them from your mental experience. Cleanse these patterns from your neural activity. Just cleanse them effortlessly. Let them go into the water. Let them flow out through your out breath into the water. And let the water absorb all of these impurities, all of these impediments, all of these traumas. And breathing in new energy. Letting the waterfall take all of that away from you, all the difficulties you've experienced in your life, all the suffering you've had in your life, all the mental structures you've created to protect yourself, all the fear you've experienced. Let that go into the water now. Let all of that go into the water. All the abuse you've suffered at the hands of other people, and all the abuse you suffered at the hands of yourself, let that go into the water. And for some of you, that will be much more important and much more powerful than the abuse you've suffered at the hands of other people. So make sure that you focus your attention on that aspect of yourself. The negativity and negative patterning and neuroses and suffering you've inflicted on yourself because of your fears and whatever other reasons you've had, because of the nature of your upbringing, that you blamed yourself, that you felt guilty, that you've not loved yourself as much as you could have, not loved yourself. Often that's the cause, lack of love, that you've inflicted suffering on yourself, you've inflicted blame on yourself, you've inflicted abuse on yourself, you've made yourself suffer. And that's a lack of love. We let that go into the water. Let the water wash over you and let that all go. All the ways of ignorance, all the pathways of ignorance that you've experienced throughout your lifetime, let that go into the water. All the mistakes you've made, all the judgments you've made about yourself and about other people, let that go. Let that be purified by the waterfall. Let it all go. And in this practice, the more you let go, the more light you'll feel, the more peaceful you'll feel. And keep breathing in white light. And breathing out into this water, feeling the flow of water around you, the healing blue water that can take away all your suffering, can take away all your darkness, all your negative energy, all your shadows, all the dark parts of your psyche. Let this water purify those. Let this water purify you and refresh you. Bring new energy into your soul. Bring new energy into your life. Keep practicing now. Keep breathing. Keep your breath flowing. Breathing in the new energy and breathing out the old energy. Letting the water take the old energy. Breathing in the new energy. Breathing in the white light energy. Breathing in the peaceful energy. And in our practice, as we let go of the more violent forms of energy, we're left with stillness, with peace. The water starts to calm down. And as the water starts to calm down, let's send out our positive energy, the results from our practice, our loving kindness to the people around us, our loved ones, people in our lives, sending them loving kindness, sending them forgiveness, sending them this positive, warm energy, sending them the benefits of our practice. Extending this energy outward into the world to those that we've never met, those we don't know, the unseen aspects of the world, and energetically sending this to the whole planet. Sending the whole planet love, sending the whole planet kindness. May all beings stop their suffering. May all beings find peace. May all beings experience joy. May all beings receive love. And may that love be unconditional. May that joy be unconditional. Limitless joy and limitless love. Sending that out to the world. We're gradually going to bring that back into our bodies. Unconditional love. We're going to start to end this practice with unconditional love. With being grateful for each other, for our practice, for the power of this practice, the power of our awareness and our consciousness. Placing your hands in a prayer position over your heart, filling your heart with gratitude and love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with others. Thank you for your practice. Breathing that in. Breathing that in. And you can start to close your eyes, to open your eyes, feeling your connection to the ground, to the light around you, the room around you, and expanding the frequency of love, the 528 hertz frequency, expanding it out. I hope that was beneficial to you and to your practice. Keep practicing. Let me know in your comments how that felt. We'll do more of these practices because of the depth of this problem and its effect on humanity and the importance of facing our traumas, facing our suffering, sharing it with others, taking the load off this disconnection and isolation that so many people feel right now. That is causing more suffering, and this is the crux of it. Connection is the most healing thing we can do. Sharing with others is part of our healing path. When we share with others, we lighten the load. We can create new narratives. We can become more empowered. So please reach out to other people who may be alone, who may feel alone. If you yourself are alone, please reach out to others, reach out to professionals, reach out to loved ones, to friends. Please reach out. This is really important. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm David Starlyte, and this has been an honor for me to share with you today's meditation. God bless you, and goodbye.